For today's shave, we're using another random grab, and as luck would have it, we got another Bengall. This one, these are Lexan scales. Uh, I don't really remember ever using this, but I got to have because, took the time to put scales on it. So today, we'll be using good old classic Old Spice mug soap. And we'll do it on Safety Cat Studios YouTube channel. Continuing with our random grabs, I got another Bengall today. Just reached into the box and grabbed one out. It could be that this is kind of bulky scales. This was out of a sheet of Lexan that I made these scales. It is a Bengall, but stamped on the back is a Swedish importer, A. Borlage Muscanafit. A lot of non-vowels there. It took a pretty good edge, as I recall. Explained to me by a friend of mine, Arnie, who lives in Sweden. He says, not all Swedish people really adore the super hard steel. And that makes sense to me, that some people might like a softer razor. So obviously there's going to be a market for Sheffield steel in Sweden. Our soap today, like I said, we are using Old Spice. This is a vintage puck, obviously, and it lathers up pretty good. I cup lather still, but it's pretty good. Easily as good as the Colgate or any of the other vintage soaps, and really as good as the artisan soaps that we've come to enjoy today. Look at that, just paints right on there. And that's not from a very long load, and this is a synthetic brush. Imagine you'd even get more product with the Badger, which this was probably designed for use with. Now let's see how this razor does. I don't recall when I did this. Obviously it's something I did, but I can't tell you when. Within the last 10 years, let's say. And then, because the collection is kind of large, it's laid in that drawer. So, who knows what kind of surprises we're going to end up with. I got to tell you, this edge is not as good as the other one. It's not to say from lack of trying, but you hone things, and honing is a perishable skill, so if I don't do it very much, the quality of my edges are going to get down. So either I was learning still, or maybe I hadn't done it for a while when I did this. So it's a hobby you got to kind of keep up on, or you're going to lose your touch. This is the quality of the shaves, though. It's doing as good a job as the other Bengall. It's a hollow ground. I don't know if you can hear the whiskers dying, but it's definitely singing to me. I can hear, well, I can't hear it as well because I don't have my ears in. But I am shortening up my strokes a little bit, only because the razor's not quite as sharp as the other. why would I use a soap that's getting a little bit more rare and hard to find? Well, you know, if you don't use it, you don't appreciate how good it is. So periodically, you use it up, but eventually you won't have any, but that's it's a consumer product. And I got it kind of as a bonus. I ordered with the mug, and it came with the soap in it. So it's a bonus anyway. I did scrub it a little bit out, you know, I loaded a few times and to get all the shelf scrubbed. There's still a little bit in there, but it's pretty hard soap in there. This would be probably from the 60s. It's not way vintage, but it's pretty old soap. The fragrance is muted a little bit because it sat open for a long time, and it sits open here. It just sits on my shelf as a decorative item. And that's kind of another reason why I grabbed it, because it was just sitting there. So, heck yeah, if you're gonna become a target of opportunity, the old man's likely to grab you. Oh, we've had a few days of unseasonably cool weather. And so, you know, I used what I would consider a cool weather soap this last time. Old Spice is just kind of an all-purpose, good for what ails you fragrance. My father wore it. And so when we were going through his things after he passed, there were quite a number of empty Old Spice jars and bottles and all kind of stuff. And to this day, if you were to open a trunk of his clothing that are still in storage, the unmistakable fragrance would still be on his clothes. Here it is some 15 years later, and I still go back to that occasionally. Very comforting. And there's no shame in that, guys. You know, you miss your father, yeah, you find something that smells like him or reminds you of him. There's no problem going back and consulting with that. It's comforting and it's good for you. So don't feel anything bad because of that. See how we did. Alum shows no buzzing at all. A very successful shave with this old Bengall. And I'd say probably this is another darn fine shave. Let's continue trying to use up our Thayer's lemon. Then the question is if I'm gonna get another bottle of Thayer's lemon or find another flavor to see if there's any one I like better. I don't know, we'll see. This is a 80s vintage Old Spice. I think this is a Procter & Gamble one. So as this fragrance got reformulated and passed around to cut costs. They cut back on the ambergris, which is from the old Schulten formulation, and it kind of might have lightened or changed the fragrance a little bit, but it's still very good and very much resembles the original. So we'll stick with it, and might as well continue using Old Spice stuff. I have a little bit of, from those bottles I was talking about, some Old Spice talc. So I'll put a little bit of that in my brush and just do a whole on vintage stuff shave today. Very successful. The talc actually has a little bit, you don't want to snort it up into you, but it does carry the Old Spice fragrance, maybe a little bit stronger actually than the Procter & Gamble version of the aftershave. But wonderful shave. Thank you for coming today. I'm Major Rich. You find me at theshavingcowder.com, or you might be finding me on my Safety Cat Studios YouTube channel, or my webpage, safetycatstudios.com. If you made it this far, thank you so much for putting some time in with me. Leave a like and subscribe even if you're so inclined, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.